In the summer of 2006, the Thompson family was the very picture of ordinary happiness. David Thompson, a 34-year-old software engineer, lived in Portland, Oregon, with his wife Lisa, a 32-year-old elementary school teacher, and their 6-year-old daughter Emma, a bright and lively little girl who was endlessly curious about the world. Their home was filled with laughter, children's drawings pinned to the refrigerator, and the ordinary rhythms of suburban life. To their friends and neighbors, they were a couple in love, doting parents to a cheerful daughter, and the kind of family everyone assumed would live out a simple, contented life. No one could have imagined that within days, they would vanish into thin air, leaving behind a mystery that would consume investigators, family members, and conspiracy theorists for nearly 2 decades. On the morning of July 15, 2006, the Thompsons packed their blue Toyota Camry with a picnic basket, a blanket, toys for Emma, and her beloved stuffed bear, the one she never slept without. Their destination was Mount Hood National Park, about an hour outside the city. Lisa waved to their neighbor, Margaret Green, as the car pulled out of the driveway. "We're off for a picnic," Lisa said cheerfully. "Emma's so excited. She's never been to such a big park before." It was, by all appearances, an ordinary family outing, one of countless summer trips taken by Portland families seeking the quiet beauty of Oregon's forests. At the park, everything seemed idyllic. Photographs later recovered from a disposable camera showed Emma tossing breadcrumbs to ducks on the lake, her parents holding hands on a short hike, and the three of them smiling in the dappled sunlight beneath towering trees. Other visitors who saw them described the Thompsons as relaxed, happy, and affectionate. Nothing in their behavior suggested any hint of trouble or foreboding. As the sun began to set, they packed up their picnic and returned to their car around 6 p.m., ready to drive home. The last confirmed sighting of the family came an hour and a half later at a gas station in Gresham, about 45 kilometers from Portland. Security cameras captured David filling the tank, while Lisa sat in the front passenger seat and Emma played with her bear in the back. Everything appeared perfectly normal. But after leaving that gas station, the Thompsons were never seen again. When they failed to arrive home that night, their absence was at first brushed off as a possible delay. But by 11 p.m., Lisa's sister Rachel grew concerned. She had been expecting them for an evening visit to hear about their day. Instead, she found their house dark and empty, the driveway bare. She waited until morning, and when they still hadn't returned, she contacted the police. The Oregon State Police launched an immediate search. Helicopters swept over highways, officers combed roadsides, and volunteers joined in as the story hit local news. 3 days later, the Toyota Camry was discovered deep in the forest, parked neatly off Highway 26, 5 kilometers from the main road. The engine was cold, the keys still in the ignition, and most of the family's belongings were inside. But the Thompsons themselves had vanished without a trace. Detective Sarah Mitchell, a seasoned investigator, took charge of the case. The car looked deliberately parked, she noted. There was no sign of struggle, no accident. It was as if they simply walked away. Search teams fanned out in a 500-meter radius, with dogs, drones, and volunteers. Yet nothing surfaced. The first troubling clue was David's wallet, which remained in the car, while Lisa's purse was missing. Stranger still, Emma's stuffed bear was found abandoned in the trunk, a chilling detail, as family members insisted Emma never let it out of her sight. For 2 weeks, hundreds of people scoured the forest. Campsites, streams, and caves were examined in painstaking detail. Flyers bearing their faces flooded Portland. Tips poured in, but led nowhere. By the end of July, the official search was suspended. The Thompsons had seemingly dissolved into the wilderness. The case was quickly labeled one of Portland's great mysteries, the kind that inspires endless speculation. Had they been kidnapped, murdered, or had they chosen to vanish? Rachel Thompson refused to give up. She spoke at vigils, pleaded with the police, and even hired a private investigator, Marcus Cole, in 2010. Cole discovered 2 peculiar details that reignited questions. First, bank records showed David had withdrawn $15,000 in cash just weeks before the disappearance. Second, his work computer revealed internet searches for off-grid living, forest survival shelters, and hidden communities. These findings raise the unsettling possibility that the Thompsons hadn't been abducted at all, but had intentionally disappeared into the wilderness. But why would a family with a young child abandon their lives so suddenly? As years passed, the case faded into obscurity. By 2018, Rachel herself died of a heart attack. Her final words reportedly a plea to find Lisa and bring Emma home. With no close family left to advocate, the case file gathered dust. In 2020, it was officially marked inactive and placed in the Portland Police Archives. Then, in October 2024, fate intervened. Deep within Mount Hood National Park, a veteran forestry worker named Carlos Martinez was clearing dead trees when he noticed something odd inside the hollow of a massive oak. Pulling it free, he discovered an aged leather satchel. Though weathered, the bag's contents had been remarkably well preserved. Inside were fragments of cash, faded identification cards, including one belonging to David Thompson, and, most intriguingly, a small notebook filled with hurried handwriting. The satchel was turned over to police, and Detective Jennifer Walsh reopened the long-dormant case. For the first time in 18 years, there was new evidence. The notebook appeared to be a diary, written by David himself in the final days of their disappearance. The entries were brief, but haunting, dated July 15th through July 18th, 2006. The first entry set a chilling tone. "We gave Emma a beautiful day, but I can't ignore it anymore. They're watching us. Tonight, we go into the forest. It's the only way." The next entry read, "Lisa is terrified, but I know what I've seen at the company. If I don't expose them, it's not only me at risk, it's all of us. I'm hiding the files here. If someone finds this, know that we had no choice." Subsequent entries described their struggle in the forest. Exhaustion, rain, Emma falling ill. On July 18th, David wrote, "I've hidden Lisa and Emma. I'll lead them away. If they catch me, maybe my family survives." The final entry was the most damning. "They're here. I see them. If anyone reads this, the truth is this. DynaTech is poisoning the rivers. I tried to stop them. We're paying the price." Investigators quickly discovered that David's employer in 2006 had indeed been DynaTech, a powerful technology and manufacturing firm. Internal reports later uncovered by the FBI revealed that DynaTech had been illegally dumping toxic waste into Oregon's waterways, covering up contamination that threatened entire ecosystems. David, as a software engineer with access to company data, had apparently discovered incriminating files. Rather than address the scandal, the company sought to silence him. Records indicated that Marcus Black, DynaTech's notorious head of security at the time, specialized in employee eliminations. Though Black himself died in 2019, his reputation was enough to lend weight to David's desperate words. Armed with the diary, the FBI joined the case. Search operations resumed in Mount Hood, this time with advanced technology and cadaver dogs. The line, "I've hidden Lisa and Emma," sparked fragile hope. Could they have survived, perhaps sheltered in some secret cabin, for years? Though the odds were slim, investigators refused to dismiss the possibility. Survivors have been found in stranger circumstances. The reopening of the case transformed the Thompson mystery from a tragic missing person story into a dark tale of corporate conspiracy, whistleblowing, and possible murder. David Thompson, once thought perhaps unstable or reckless, was now regarded as a man who risked everything to protect his family and expose the truth. His last act, scribbled into that notebook, suggested a man torn between terror and resolve, determined to shield Lisa and Emma even if it cost him his life. As search teams pushed deeper into the forests, stories spread of hidden clearings, derelict cabins, and strange noises in the night. Some locals whispered that the Thompsons had indeed lived off-grid for a time, evading capture. Others believed they were killed within days, their bodies hidden by professionals. Online forums erupted with theories, each more elaborate than the last. Were Lisa and Emma still out there? Could they have started over under new identities? Or were their remains still buried beneath the endless Oregon pines? 18 years later, the mystery is still unraveling. The FBI has not confirmed whether human remains have been located, But the search continues. Detective Walsh insists. David Thompson wasn't paranoid. He was right. He was silenced. Now it's our duty to find out if his family can still be saved. The story of the Thompsons forces us to confront unsettling truths. That powerful corporations can bury their crimes, that ordinary families can be caught in extraordinary dangers, and that sometimes, when people vanish, it is not because they are lost, but because they are hiding, clutching secrets too dangerous to share. If Lisa and Emma are still alive, they would now be 50 and 24 years old. If they are not, the forest holds their final story, waiting to be uncovered. For those who continue to follow their case, the message remains clear. The Thompson family's story is not yet finished. Somewhere in the shadowed depths of Mount Hood, answers are waiting.